Welcome to this week's Rogers McKee YouTube video. In this week's episode, we're going to discuss how you can become a bigger biller or build a bigger business within recruitment. Let's go. Welcome to this week's Rogers McKee YouTube video. So in this week's episode, we're looking at how you can bill more in recruitment or build a bigger recruitment business. So for me, there's 3 stages to grow in that billings or the desk that you're trying to build. So the first stage is the recruiter that you are. Nobody can get away from the fact that this is who I am, this is where I am, and this is what I'm currently performing at. And the third stage is the recruiter I want to be. Whether that's because I'm billing more money, I'm getting more retained work, I've got more inbound leads, put inbound in there as well, I'm not chasing new business all the time. And the stage in between is content marketing. So in terms of recruitment, if you want more retained work or if you want more inbound leads, there's got to be an element of risk reversal. Clients are parting with thousands upon thousands of pounds for you to provide a service. In a lot of cases, you've got to reverse that risk. So how do you do that? Well, you build a brand. You put content out there. You become known, famous to a few. So how do you build that content? How do you become known for what you're doing? There's a few stages that you need to go through. So the first thing, and we've spoke about it a lot on the YouTube video, so I'm not going to go into it in a load of detail, but you need a niche. You need a niche audience that you're speaking to, so you've got to work on what is your niche. And then you're building content around that, whether that be on YouTube, as we're doing now, whether that be on LinkedIn, whether that be face-to-face, or online in a round table. Could you get some influencers or key people within your sector all together, maybe from different companies, competing companies, different organisations within your niche? Could you get them online for a round table to discuss the issues in the industry? Could you host that? What are the issues in the industry? What are the potential legislation changes? How are they going to overcome that? Is there any specific legislation in your industry at the minute that's due to be released? And you could get people together on a webinar, and you could potentially even give the advice at the webinar or present the webinar to them. So you're getting known in your sector. And all of this stuff, it takes time. Building content takes time. But from that, you'll generate a lot of trust. So people will trust what you're doing. They'll want to buy off you as well, because they'll see you as a valuable voice within the sector, and it will probably improve your average customer value. So more customers will spend on average more money with you as a consultant or as a business, because there's probably going to be a lot of repeat work. You may be able to negotiate higher fees. And you're then going to be generating from the same clients more money, which means that your billings are going to go up. But that comes from time. This content piece isn't an overnight success. You've got to constantly be doing it. You've got to constantly be thinking about it. You've got to constantly be talking about it in order to generate the results from it. I'm going to mention a company's name now. And it works in a similar way. And it's a small company, you may have heard of it. So stop me if you have. Disney. So we're going back to my childhood now to a degree, but with Disney you used to be able to buy a DVD, or if you are actually going back to my age, a VHS for £10 potentially. My board's losing its stability, there we go, for £10. So for a small introductory fee, they could introduce you to the world. of Disney. They had Disney stores. So what you might do is you might progress from spending £10 on a DVD or a VHS to £30 on a toy. But they've got you in their ecosystem, and they're constantly putting content out there. In this case, it's that. But why are they doing that? Because ultimately, in the long run, they want to get you to Disneyland, Paris, or Florida, or wherever else they've got parks. I think they've got one in Japan, I think they've got one in California. And for a family going from the UK, you're probably dropping the best part of 10 to 15 grand on a holiday. So they've gone from selling you a £10 DVD to a 15 grand holiday. Or there's the Disney cruises, which is probably something similar. It's a holiday, it's probably a similar cost, I would imagine. But they get you in with the small initial outlay, the £10, the content that they're putting out there, and it builds that trust, and you start to respect them and like the business, and all of a sudden you're dropping 15 grand on a holiday. And that's the process you guys want to follow in terms of building your desk. So a client may give you a one-off job, a 5k fee. What you're really looking for is you're looking at using your content to build that trust, to get them to like you, to get them to know you, so that over time, that one-off fee of 5 grand becomes a monthly retainer for their recruitment services, or a retained fee per search. It might be a 10k fee. You might become sole supplier. So the 5k account may then become, well, we'll sign sole supplier agreement. By the way, we're spending 150 grand a year on recruitment. And all of a sudden, because they know, like and trust you, and that all comes through your content, you've gone from having a client that spent 5 grand with you to a client that's prepared to sign sole supplier agreements at £150,000. And then if you're the recruiter, if you're the one building the brand, you can plug in resources around you that are going out finding the candidates potentially, and all you're doing then is pushing the right candidates into your client base. But it starts with that brand. It starts with people knowing who you are, being known to a few, being famous to a few. You can't do recruitment anymore just on the phone. You've got to be able to build a brand. You've got to be able to get your voice out there. You've got to become a key person of influence within your niche. And I'm saying this all the time to our teams at the minute. If you're not posting on LinkedIn, you're missing a beat. What else can we do with our clients that's going to generate the trust that we're here now, we're going to be here in 10 years, we're driving this juggernaut, or we're driving towards being a juggernaut of a business. We want them on the journey with us, and we want them to trust that we're going to be around. Because the other thing is, if you're working from your back bedroom as a one-man band, for instance, how are they going to be able to trust that in 2 years' time you're still going to be doing the same thing? They're giving you all this information about their business. They're relying on you to build a team or teams for them over the years. They're going to want to trust that you're going to be around to deliver on these things. So for me, that's today's video. Like I say, it comes about because a few people in interviews have asked how you can become a bigger biller. So like I said, it starts with acknowledging the biller that you are today, the recruiter that you are today, and identifying the biller that you want to be. What do you want to be achieving? Is it more inbound leads? Is it more retained searches? What is it that you fundamentally want to be achieving as a recruiter? And then it's using that content and using the different technologies in order to be able to deliver that. Like I say, whether that be YouTube, whether that be LinkedIn, whether that be roundtables on legislation in your market. So, I hope you've enjoyed that video. Apologies for the last couple of weeks where there's been a little bit of a delay in getting videos out. It's been pretty full on at the start of the year. That is no excuse. I said I'd deliver videos every week, and I failed in February, which is disappointing. However, We're back on the content machine now. So if you could like that video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back next week with another video. See you then.